Diddy's career could well be over because after 50 Cent dropped those prison tapes of Diddy and the whole internet exploded. Everyone wanted to know what else 50 had up his sleeve. And when he sat down to talk about his Netflix docu-series Sean Combs' The Reckoning, he made it clear what we've seen so far might only be the beginning. He has more tapes he's going to release.
Other stuff that you just have not shown?
Yeah, well, everything couldn't make was 4 episodes.
Right.
So it was a lot. You had to pick and choose things. Like even in an area where he chooses to date people who he knows previously dated someone. He has a baby by a woman that was dating Tupac.
Wow.
To add to it, but we had to cut it down so it could.
For time.
Yeah.
So are you coming out? I know next year is going to be a number 2. Season 2?
Or I just put it on YouTube.
I just put it on YouTube.
That's right. 50 has just hinted at releasing more Diddy tapes on YouTube, of all places available for everyone to see. And perhaps the biggest, most damaging bombshell that has hit the internet since this 50 Cent interview is how Diddy has since been exposed for trying to intimidate and influence a juror. Here are the details.
Diddy was recording because he thought he was about to beat the case. So he wanted to do a Netflix documentary. Didn't pay the guy, and then 50 got all 140 hours of footage of secret Diddy tactics. Well, there's a guy named Neil who was mentioned in the court, works right up under Diddy, was organizing everything. Allegedly, they are saying that he is on video, film, tampering with witnesses, giving out addresses, offering money, bribing, we'll pay for your lawyers, all kind of shit that could be counted as witness tampering, obstruction of justice. And 50, of all people, has his hands on this footage. And I'm hearing that this could implicate Diddy's lawyers in some bullshit. They could be charged. This shit is getting wild. And I'm hearing that this 50 Cent documentary is just the fucking tip of the iceberg.
This guy in this video said one specific name, and it was Neil, and it automatically made me think of Neil Dominique. Everything that we just covered the other day that came out from Diddy's former chef, Jordan, who was going to be a witness testifying against Diddy in the criminal trial. You remember she just took to her Instagram calling out Neil Dominique, saying that he was basically the one to give Diddy information that she was testifying to the grand jury. She has been claiming for a while, when she testified to this grand jury on April 2nd of 2024, just 2 weeks later, Diddy's attorney would text her saying, "Dear Chef Jordan, this is Aaron Dyer. I'm Sean Combs' attorney. I left you a voicemail last week, but wanted to follow up. I have been told you have been contacted by law enforcement and might want an attorney to represent you." So that man in this video was basically saying that 50 Cent has video footage of Diddy talking to these people and setting this up to go after.
And the wildest part is that now 50 Cent is saying this himself. He straight up revealed that he has 140 hours of footage after people started talking about it. He even posted online, "Yes, I have the footage, LOL." That alone had everybody shocked. But it gets even crazier. He has since even gone on to talk about why he chose to attack.
Telling us as clear as I don't have any reserve, like the fear that they would actually have towards him. I don't think he's.
And as it turns out, a lot of people who refused to appear in earlier documentaries finally agreed to show up for this one because they trusted 50 and weren't scared to speak anymore.
People in this docuseries that wasn't in the previous docs that you saw, because they said, no, I'm gonna do that one because 50, that's gonna be the big one. Because I'm not scared of none of that. Like I think it's just the way I was brought up. I don't really register those things. I've been through way more extreme things than these people. I look at the project, it's just another project to me, and look and create reasoning for it. It could be their personal take on why it's the way it is, but if they watch the documentary, it's been done tastefully and it is the best version of a docuseries that you'll see on this. Well, he is a big part of the culture. Like he's he made it to a respectable position within culture. Any smart person would pick their fights. And you say, I don't really get anything out of it, it's not my business anyway, so why say something about it? Like, the docuseries is me putting together people who had different experiences and letting them tell their truth, right? And a lot of things come out that make clarity for you in a different way to it. But I only was comfortable saying stuff about him because I've been saying it for 20 years. I've said it since that day, I'm like.
One of the biggest moments for him was securing footage from Diddy's final days before his arrest and indictment. Watching that raw material for the first time was an explosive, shocking experience. According to 50.
It's really fascinating.
A journalist would ask that, but a journalist would also say, I'm gonna keep my sources secure, but but I got it. They can blame it on me. That is that. I think he's gonna actually like the project. He's gonna see that it was done fair, the perspective. Because he's gonna see too many people or he'll be consumed by what his personal experience was with each individual that's saying things about him because he lived these things. She's gonna understand it. You can interview her following that and I'll do the interview with her. I'll make sure I put it together. Yeah, because I had communications with her to understand it, what's going on. And even though she's not in the docuseries, it was important I spoke to her to understand how things transpired. The husband, I spoke to him away from her, separate individual communications, and then see things kind of match up. Like when people say things, I go, oh, okay, I hear what you said, but if you hear things multiple times from people, different people, it kind of rings true to you. He got old real fast. His hair was jet black, like mine, and the next day he was like a full. All I saw from was the raccoon pictures from the courtroom. When they drew him, it was looked like a raccoon.
And just like that, 50 Cent stepped back into the spotlight with the one thing he loves most, proof. Real receipts. And he's letting everybody know that if you're not making a documentary about your enemy's downfall, you're not beefing at his level. Heck, 50 even talked about why the A-listers in Diddy's circle have kept silent about this. 4 years, 50 has been collecting everything he could on Diddy, quietly, patiently, waiting for the perfect moment. And now that moment is here. Diddy is locked up, shouting at his lawyers from behind prison walls. And he can't do anything to stop 50's documentary from blowing up. Diddy's lawyers already tried. They put out a statement calling the documentary illegal and even pushed Netflix to take it down. Now, one major thing that wasn't included in the documentary was the death of someone really close to Diddy. Someone whose death Diddy was responsible for. Anthony Wolf Jones. Diddy's former bodyguard. Gene Deal recently spoke out about Diddy's role in the death of his bodyguard, Wolf, and criticized the documentary for leaving him out entirely. He said the East Coast versus West Coast rivalry didn't start over Big Jake's murder, as some have claimed. In fact, Wolf wasn't the gunman who killed Jake, and Gene insists that's something everyone involved knows. Wolf, who managed security and coordinated operations for Puff, had made it clear that he wouldn't travel unless his team was fully protected. He had warned multiple people, including Puff and Kirk Burrows, that he wasn't going anywhere without proper support.
Burrows called me up. He's like, yo, Gene, you and Wolf, I got y'all tickets to LA. I said, all right, cool. So I go down there and I pick up the tickets to LA. I got Wolf ticket. I got a Wolf ticket. So I'm calling Wolf up. I said, yo, Wolf, I got your ticket to go to LA. Wolf said, I ain't going. I said, what you mean you ain't going? He said, yo, Gene, I ain't gonna tell you how I'm making I ain't gonna tell you how to make your money, but I'm gonna let you know this. I told Puff them if they wasn't gonna take 2 tour buses of my niggas out there with us, I'm not going. Wolf is the head of all the functions that has to do with Puff dealing with security. I have my own contract with Puff, yeah. Paul Alford ran Green Gate Security, which is the daily operations of Puff stuff. That's his house, his cars, his transportation. He ran the office, the bad boy office, the clothing, all that shit. He ran the daily operation with his security. Wolf is over whatever's happening with Puff. You understand? Wolf tells Puff them and tell Kirksboro to know, if y'all not going out there right, nobody should go out there at all.
Wolf ended up losing his life while protecting Puff and handling security matters. Gene emphasized that this critical part of the story, including Wolf's connection to BMF, was completely left out of the document.
Wolf did not and was not going anywhere that had to do with California. And it wasn't because of the Jake situation. It was that he wanted to be safe, and the only way he felt safe if he was going out there with the dudes from his clique. And that was the Valley Mob. That's the only way. Wolf ended up losing his life behind Puff and his bullshit. And people they didn't even put that in the documentary. Wolf ended up losing his life behind Puff and his bullshit. And that bullshit was with BMF. That's a big segment in my book that I wrote that whole shit. I wrote a whole big situation in my book regarding that, Mike. And I know you're doing this. I want to say that right there because I was there the night that Meech had promised Puff, you know what I'm saying? He ain't have to worry about Suge Knight. He ain't have to worry about nobody from this point on. And telling Puff some shit like that made him think that he could talk to Wolf any kind of way. Because if anybody knew, BMF was powerful back then. They had dudes from everywhere. And Meech telling him he ain't have to worry about nobody no more, it made Puff think that he could tell Wolf that he didn't need Wolf no more. And one thing led to the next.
Gene's point is simple. Wolf's death wasn't just an accident or a minor side story. It was tied directly to the dynamics of the industry and decisions made by those in charge. And it deserved more attention than the documentary gave it. Meanwhile, Diddy and his family are allegedly preparing a massive $1 billion defamation lawsuit, arguably the largest in history, as a response to the documentary. But even with all that, 50 Cent noted that taking legal action would mean proving that everything said in the documentary is false. That opens a huge door and could create more complications. Financially, Diddy is facing a challenge. Even with his wealth, keeping up with ongoing legal battles, appeals, and lawyers is draining. Without new income, the lifestyle he's used to will be harder to sustain, and that may end up being the real punishment. Now, the real problem for Diddy is that he secretly recorded private conversations with his lawyer, Mark Agnello, the very person who had successfully defended him in court. That's a huge betrayal. Lawyers rely on client confidentiality and privilege to speak honestly and protect their clients by allowing a third party to be present and recording those conversations. Diddy completely undermined that trust.